Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing 31 on the 31st, because today is the 31st of May, and yeah, 3131 is back with fantasy movies. The franchises are the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts franchise, Star Wars including Solo and Rogue One, the Chronicles of Narnia, Middle Earth, as well with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And that is it. And yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been doing any of these 31s for a while. I didn't know what to do it on. I forgot last year, because last year was like dealing with demons, and I didn't, those movies just didn't really vest me. But yeah, sorry about that, but we're back. And yeah, let's get into it. Number 31 is unfortunately Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grunderbald, with a 1.5 out of 5 with 30%. While this movie was bad, I mean, we had a good movie, then a bad movie, with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And then the bad movie is Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grunderbald. And while this franchise is not going so well, but this movie was just bad. The pacing in this movie was not good, and the character development wasn't that good. The direction could have been better, but they did try, and it did not really work for me. But the movie overall, waste of my time. Didn't really enjoy the film. I enjoyed Johnny Depp as Grunderbald. Fantastic Beast. It's just not for me. But yeah, it's just not for me. Number 30, it's Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So I give it a 2 out of 5 with 46%. Well, this franchise is not doing well. First, Phantom Menace, now Attack of the Clones. Yeah, I don't like this movie. I'm sad to say that, but this is the only Star Wars movie that I think is Star Wars movies that I think are bad. I think is bad. It was Attack of the Clones, which is good, but not good in the same way. But anyway, the pacing on this movie was just bad. The acting was okay, and the movie was just not really entertaining. The action was good. The choreography, God, I got some big words. Not really that good. Yeah, it's just a movie I really don't want to rewatch. It's not really for me, and it wasn't really a good movie. Number 29 is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. While this movie was disappointing, when I first saw this movie, I loved it. But now I just think it's okay. It's an okay movie. But this was fun for what it was, which was not really anything. I love Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor in this movie. Obi-Wan Kenobi is my second favourite Star Wars character. But in this movie, I just think he was good. I think it was good. But yeah, this movie was just an okay movie. Didn't really enjoy it that much. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars with a 54%. I didn't really invest my time with this movie. The action was good, and the action choreography was good. But yeah, it was just okay for what it was, and yeah, it wasn't really much, but it did try and intrigue me into this movie, which did not work, unfortunately. Number 28, God, people are gonna say, do you hate Star Wars? It's Solo, a Star Wars story. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars with 55%. This movie is very disappointing. I think that movie was just okay for what it was. A bland Star Wars movie. The pacing was not good. The acting was good. The movie was just, it was for entertaining. It was just a bland, okay movie. Yeah, it just really wasn't for me. I think it's an okay movie though. But people gonna hate me. It's like, what? How do you have 3 Star Wars movies in your bottom? Well, it's okay. You'll understand. Because this was a really hard 31 for me. But, this movie, Solo, a Star Wars story, 28. 27 is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them with a 3 out of 5 with a 60%. This movie was good to start the Fantastic Beasts movies. Now I know this franchise people are mixed with. Well, you will hear my thoughts on all three. You already know. The second one, I don't like that film. This movie was a good movie. The pacing was okay and the characters are not better than the Harry Potter characters, but they were entertaining. Well, most of them were entertaining. Some of them I didn't really find the grip of enjoying them, didn't really, got to invest into the characters, but most of them I did, and I'm happy with that. But this movie is just a good movie, and yeah, it's a bit sad because how we left off with Harry Potter. Then we got the Fantastic Beasts. And I just went, it's good, but with Deathly Hallows Part 2, well, I'm not going to tell you because spoiling it. But Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Number 27. Number 26 is The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And I gave it a 3 out of 5 with a 60%. Now this movie was fun. I wouldn't say it's the best out of the franchise, but I can say I had a fun time with this movie. The characters in this movie was enjoyable. And the characters in this movie was enjoyable to watch on screen. Well, most of them. I think the pacing in this movie was okay, but not the best. But yeah, it's watchable. It's a watchable film. I wouldn't say it's top tier for me. I just think it's a watchable film that I can enjoy. Unfortunately, it's not the best out of the franchise, but it does try on bringing me to invest into this film. But 26, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. 25 is The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I gave this film a 3 out of 5 with a 60%. This movie was fun enough. It was a fun enough time. There was problems with this movie, like the pacing I am not a massive fan of, and the acting was decent. The movie, like I said, was I had fun enough time with, but there was just a scene I didn't really like because I wasn't really entertaining in this movie. Like there was some slow scenes that I just wanted to end as well. But overall, the film was enjoyable for what it was. It's not one of the best films I've seen. I did not read I don't think I've read the books, but I watched this movie when I was a little kid, and I think I enjoyed it. But when I rewatched it, it's not really for me. Well, it's a good movie overall. 24 is a newly one, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, with a 3 out of 5 and a 60%. This movie was good. It was better than the second one, which I'm happy with. Which I am happy with that. But the movie still has mistakes, like the pacing was not good. The enjoyability did drop for recent watch. But this movie just could have been better, but it wasn't. I like the action in this movie, I have to say. And I love the new ad of, the recasting of Mads Mikkelsen as, Gandalf. No, not Gandalf. What's his name? Grunderbald, that's right. I loved, I loved his performance in this movie. I think he did very well. My number 23 is The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. So it's a 3 out of 5 with a 64%. This movie was fun. I liked this movie to the extent to which I think it was good for what it was. And there were problems with this movie, like the pacing was very quick, fast pacing, and the action was good. But was it entertaining? Yes, to the extent it was okay for entertaining. It's an okay entertaining film. It's not. It is the best for me out of the franchise, but doesn't mean it's a good film. But for me it is a good film, but not to the extent of which I love this movie. But unfortunately, I'm really sad with this franchise. It's dropped down really low for me, but like I said, there are some heavy heavy franchises in this. 31 and 31. My number 22 is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. I gave this a 3 out of 5 with a 64%. Now this movie, I first did not like this movie. It was just boring and not for me. But when I rewatched it, and not too long ago, I really enjoyed it now. I don't think this is like a top movie, but it was just good for what it was. The acting was very good. The acting was good. The direction was good, and the characters were entertaining to watch on the screen. And yeah, the action. I enjoyed the action. I loved the characters. They invested me into the character in this film. And yeah, the direction was very well done and very good. My number 21 is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So, it's Half-Blood Prince. Now, I gave this film a 3 out of 5 with a 65%. Now, this is what I said. This movie is a drop for the franchise. Now, I don't mean that it's a bad movie, I just think it's good for what it was. And also, I think the pacing in this movie could have been a bit better, and the character development was very good. We finally get into the Harry Potter. And, this is the last place for me for Harry Potter. It's still a good movie. I have to go with that. It's still a good movie. I still do enjoy this movie. I think Daniel Radcliffe and the trio are great. It's just a good movie for what it was. That's all I can say. It's a good movie for what it was, and it was enjoyable. My number 20 is we're getting into the Middle Earth. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, with a 3 out of 5 and a 67%. Now this movie did drop from the franchise of the Middle Earth, but I still enjoy this movie. There are mistakes in this movie, like the pacing was not great, but it was okay. The cast was good, but was the movie enjoyable to watch? And the movie was enjoyable to watch, but there was some non-entertaining things, like the scenes in this movie, like they were too long, and they shouldn't have been in the movie, or just cut shorter. It's still an enjoyable film. It's close to a very good movie, but overall, it's just a good movie. It's not like top tier for me, but it's just a good, enjoyable movie that I enjoyed and had a fun time with. My 19 is The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 with a 68%. Now this movie is not the best, this movie is not the best out of the bunch. It's not last place, but the second best out of the Hobbit movies. There are still problems with this movie, like the pacing in this movie wasn't that great, the cast did a good job, and the movie was overall an enjoyable movie with problems. Yeah, like I said with The Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey, there were some scenes I didn't really enjoy. The pacing in this movie wasn't that great. Could have been a bit better. But overall, it was an enjoyable movie that I had a fun time with. My 18th spot is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars with a 70%. There we go. Now this is how you can make a fun Star Wars movie, unlike Episode 1 and 2. And this movie still has problems, like the pacing in this movie could have been a bit better. The characters in this movie could have been a bit better, but it was a fun and entertaining movie that I enjoyed and had a blast with. It's like I really hate on this film, really. Well, I did, but it's still a fun film. The direction in this movie was good. The camera styles were good. But yeah, I think there are still problems with this movie, but it's still a fun and entertaining movie that I can enjoy. 17 is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars with a 75%. I like this movie now. I don't love it or think it's amazing nor great, but it was just a fun movie, and I had a fun time. With it. Now the characters in this movie were good. The direction in this movie was good, but this movie, it just did not hit me to love it. But this is like another mixed Star Wars movie with Last Jedi as well, which I do enjoy very much. But it was still an enjoyable movie, but I wouldn't say it's top Star Wars for me, but it's still an enjoyable film that I can watch and enjoy. 16 is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, with a 3.5 out of 5 stars with a 76%. This movie was a good sequel to The Philosopher's Stone. And yeah, this movie was good, and I think the pacing in this movie was good, and the characters in this movie was great. And yeah, overall, a good movie, and that is near a good movie that is near a great movie. Yeah, I really do enjoy Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It's a fun, investing, entertaining movie that I can enjoy and love. I love the trio of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. But and I love, and I just love this movie. It's a fun time, and yeah, definitely check out this movie if you have not seen it. My number 15 is The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. I'm probably butchered that name, I'm sorry. Now this is where we get into the great movies. I gave it a 4 out of 5 with an 80%. There we go. Now we have a better Hobbit movie. Probably the best out of the bunch. Yes, it is. The pacing was great and the cast in this movie was great. And just a great and entertaining movie to watch. So definitely a must watch from the bunch. I love the direction and camera style from this film. It looks amazing. And of course it's directed by Sir Peter Jackson, which, come on, New Zealander, you gotta support him. Even though this movie still does have a little bit of problems, the pacing was great, but some of the scenes in this movie had some problems, which I can, live over, but it's still an enjoyable movie. 14 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I give it a 4 out of 5 with an 80%. This movie was so good. I love how entertaining this movie is. I think this movie's pacing was very well done, and the character development and the character. But like I said, this movie was good. I love how entertaining this movie is. I think this movie's pacing was very well done. And the character development was great, and the plot was great as well. I think this movie very well done, and I respect this movie on how well it is made. I like the direction. The direction was great. Yeah, overall, a really fun movie, and I think people should definitely check it out. Number 13. There we go. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. And I gave it a 4 out of 5 with an 85%. This movie is great and a fun time. I love this movie because the action in this movie is awesome, and the characters in this movie are good, and the acting was great, and the direction was great, and I understand this movie, and I think this is a movie, the most mixed Star Wars movie ever, along with, what's the other one? Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and then you have Solo. Well, there's heaps of mixed Star Wars movies. But I think this one was a great movie. I love the visuals. The visuals are beautiful. Especially when I liked it. And I think it's like snow. How there's like heaps of red. That looks sick. That looks really sick. And I love the action. The action is great. And yeah, the movie, it was just awesome. And I love the film. Number 12, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, whatever you like to call it. I give it a 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5 with an 85%. No, I love this movie. I really did enjoy it. No, I love this movie. I really did enjoy it. Now, I didn't watch Harry Potter movies till like last year, and I enjoyed them. They are fun movies, except for some of them. Except for some Fantastic Beasts. But anyway, this movie's pacing was great. And the characters were great. From the books to the movie, it was just so cool to see them on the big screen. That was so cool, and yeah, I loved it. But, I really did enjoy this movie. It was so cool. A really entertaining and awesome movie that I enjoyed. Even though it's not the best out of the franchise, it was still a really enjoyable and fun movie that I really did enjoy. My number 11 for me is Return of the Jedi. I gave this movie a 4 out of 5 with an 86%. Well, unfortunately, this movie did drop for me. I could have gotten it a 4.5, but I did drop it to a 4. But this movie is still a great movie. Not better than the OG, which is Star Wars, A New Hope, or Empire Strikes Back. But this is still a very fun movie that I loved and had a blast with. Yeah, I still really enjoy this film. It's still an enjoyable film. I enjoyed my time with it. But yeah, it's not the best out of the bunch, but it's still a great movie and a really investing and fun movie to watch. And I had a blast with it. Unfortunately, it did not make my top 10 as well. I made 11, but it was very close. Because 11 and 10 have the same percentage. But it was very close. Because both of them I really love each. But anyway, Return of the Jedi, number 11. Number 10, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I give it a 4 out of 5 with an 86%. I think this movie is great and a fun time. I love how this movie's plot works so well in this movie, and the pacing in this movie is so good. And yeah, I think this was a fun movie and a fun time to watch. Yeah, these are fun movies. Like, I have to say, really fun movies. And we've even got, I think, Robert Pattinson. Was Robert Pattinson in this movie? I think he was. Which was so cool. How he turned into Harry Potter now into the bloody Batman. That's cool. Being a Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I know it's probably some people's favourites or least favourites, but for me, it's not my favourite out of the franchise, but it's very close. Well, it's not very close because there are still quite a few, but an enjoyable movie overall. Yeah. Number 9, we're finally getting into the more Middle Earth, the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings, number 9 is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, with a 4 out of 5 and an 88%. Now, okay, I love this movie. I know some people will be like, oh my god, it's so low. Only a 4 out of 5. Well, if you haven't watched any of my monthly tier lists, 4 out of 5 means great. And this movie is a great movie. But not as great as the first or second Lord of the Rings movies, but still love this movie. But it's still a great movie and an awesome time, and I really did enjoy the finale of this film, and it was just really entertaining and really enjoyable. And yeah, I'm just so proud of this movie, how it got the film in this beautiful land of New Zealand, which is so cool. Number 8 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, with a 4 out of 5 stars and an 88%. Now, this movie is great. It's a great movie and a great time. And I don't think this is my favourite from the franchise, but it was a fun and entertaining movie. And the pacing in this movie was great, and the action in this movie was great as well. Yeah, it's a great movie. I really do enjoy this film, and it's a fun time. And yeah, the action was great. The trio in this movie, oh, I love my trio, Harry, Hermione, and Ron. Great trio, and yeah, great trio. But the movie, I do enjoy. It's not the best out of the franchise, but I still think it's nearly an awesome movie. But it's a great time and a great movie. My number What number am I on? 7. It looks like I'm doing the L7. Okay, now that, oh god, I shouldn't have done that. 7, basically, is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban with a 4.5 out of 5 stars with a 92%. I think this movie is an awesome movie. I love this movie so much. I love the pacing in this movie, and the characters in this movie are great. And this movie's plot was great as well. And the movie is so entertaining. This movie is so entertaining. It used to be my favorite out of the franchise, surprisingly. I forgot if it was my first or second. I forgot. But it's an awesome movie, I mean. It's so good, so entertaining. The direction is great, the camera styles are spectacular. But great movie, an awesome movie. And yeah, it was just so cool. It was just such a good movie. Such an awesome movie. Number 6. God, this is where we say goodbye to Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 with a 4.5 out of 5 stars with a 95%. Now, to end off this Harry Potter movies, except Fantastic Beasts, and this was a great way to end it all off. And I loved it. I think the character development was fantastic, and the cast was fantastic as well. And the movie was so entertaining, and the action was so good. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Oh, that was a epic movie. I wouldn't say it's like top tier for me in any means, but it's still a very intriguing, amazing movie that I enjoy the hell out of. And it's my favourite Harry Potter movie. There you go. For all you wondering. Number 5. Star Wars The Force Awakens. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars with a 95%. This movie is epic. I love this movie because it's entertaining and a fun movie to watch. I was so skeptical walking into this movie because I didn't know if I was going to love this movie, and I did. And I did think, and I did. I think the pacing in this movie was good. The new characters of this movie were awesome. I love the action battles in this movie, but yeah, a fun, epic movie to watch. I had a blast with. Probably my favourite character from this bunch. It's I can't really say because it kind of spoils favourite character of Star Wars. But it's still a fun movie and an awesome, epic movie that I love the hell out of. My number 4 that did not receive the bronze is Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars with a 95%. This movie was freaking fantastic. I just watched Lord of the Rings movies for the first time, surprisingly, and they are so freaking amazing. Now I know most all New Zealanders would be mad at me because I am a New Zealander, but anyway, freaking fantastic movie. The pacing in this movie is amazing. Same with cast and direction was over the top. The camera styles in this movie fantastic. And the direction, like I said, from Sir Peter Jackson, looks beautiful. Unfortunately, I did not watch this on the big screen. I really wish I could. But yeah, great films. Awesome films. Awesome. I love this film so much. But a great movie. And this was the first time watching it, and that's how high I go. Congratulations. My third that got the bronze. People are gonna be so pissed that I put this low. Oh, it's 31 films. Come on. That's The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars with 95%. The sequel to The Lord of the Rings is fantastic, as well with the first movie. But anyway, the pacing in this movie was great, and the cast was amazing, and the direction by the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Peter Jackson, his direction and films is amazing, but in this movie was next level. The reason why I didn't put this movie in my 1 or 2 is because this is my first time watching it. With 1 and 2, I've watched them like over, don't even know how much, but I've watched them so much. But with this movie, I still think it's an epic movie. My number 2, Star Wars: A New Hope. I gave it a 5 out of 5 with 98%. Well, this movie is freaking awesome. I love this movie so much. The reasons why I love this movie is because the characters in this movie are very entertaining to watch on screen. My favourite, of course, Han Solo. The pacing in this movie is very well done. The direction in this movie is amazing. And the acting in this movie was freaking amazing as well. And the big bad Darth Vader, I love him so much. God, this just getting me bloody excited. Like, Star Wars movies are getting me bloody excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi this week. But anyway, Star Wars: A New Hope. I love this movie so much. It's an epic movie that I just love the hell out of. And yeah, it's amazing. It's such an awesome, epic movie that I enjoy. And I have a freaking blast with. My number 1 is The Empire Strikes Back with a 5 out of 5 and a 100%. And this movie was epic. I love how this movie could be the OG movie. But anyway, I was actually lucky enough to see this movie in theaters with my dad, and it was epic. I think this movie is definitely a movie that everyone should check out in theaters if it gets a re-release in theaters, because 100% check this movie out. It's so amazing, and it's such a blessing to see this movie in theaters, because it was just, yeah, it was something special that I was so happy to see. But I loved The Empire Strikes Back. I had a bloody blast with this movie, and I cannot wait to watch this movie again. And it's also one of my favourite movies of all time. There you go. Thank you for watching my 31 on 31 fantasy movies. Hope you enjoyed it. With 31 on 31 this year, there will be one in October and one in August 31st. And so there's one in August and October 31st as well. I won't say what they will be on, but in June or July, I'll be telling you what my August, probably July, or my 31 will be, and they'll be freaking exciting. But yeah, thank you for watching my 31 on 31 fantasy movies. There'll be a video right there. It'll be a 31 on 31. I don't know what one. My icon right there. Click on it, subscribe, and then a video right there. I don't know what one, but yeah. And then comment down below what's your favourite movies from this bunch. And like the video, that would be a massive help. Turn on the post notification bell so you never miss another 31 on 31, or you never miss a video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care. Peace.